galvanize civil society partners to ensure that we look beyond 2024. After the Swachh Bharat mission is over, ODF++ is over, Jal Jeevan mission is over, then what, right? That's going to be our agenda.
So we got a question, an audience, Sabita. She's asking, can you please elaborate on the ways to harvest rainwater in urban areas?
So the urban context is very complex, right? Today, fundamentally, we have urban building laws which mandate rainwater harvesting. So any new apartment, any residence, large gated communities, all of them are mandated to have rainwater harvesting. So this is, in some sense, this has been mainstreamed. But what's challenging is how to maintain them, how to revive them, right? So let's take some of the buildings that were built 15 to 20 years ago. Let us say apartment complexes. Say, for example, in Hyderabad, I've come across that there are these classic, 5-story buildings with 20 apartments, 10 apartments, 12 apartments, which have been built when none of these laws were mandated. Then how do you retrofit that building to ensure it is rainwater harvesting compliant? That's the challenge that we are looking at. The second challenge that we are looking at is, where is the plumbing capacity to ensure that this retrofitting happens, right? There may be capacity, but there's not interest, because a large part of the workforce today that is involved in construction business is deployed in new projects. It is actually, a lot of this workforce actually comes from elsewhere. It is not localized. So where is the capacity? Even if there's interest, where is the capacity, right? So retrofitting of existing buildings to make them more water harvesting compliant and looking at capacity to do this are the two biggest challenges that I would say we are facing. But having said that, there are several organizations that which have cracked this. One of them I know is Smaran, that they have retrofitted tons of buildings to make them harvest more rainwater. We have done this in urban setting in schools. This works very well for us, and we are in partnership with the government of Telangana School Education Department to also demonstrate this. Is that the roof water and the runoff water is something that we can actually measure and recharge, and this is done through simple structures like I mentioned, a combination of pipelines, a simple filter media, and a water receptacle with filter media and the injection shaft to take the water down. And this is something that even the local plumber might actually have an idea about. This doesn't require a hydrogeologist to come and give you a design, but this is something that can be done. So, and there are several context-specific questions, context-specific issues also, and many gated communities which have taken very active interest. They have reduced the amount of concretization that has happened in their communities to ensure that there is natural water seepage, right? So you don't need to do something exclusive to harvest the rainwater, but a large part of it can actually be collected and it permeates through the ground as it is. It doesn't require any special effort. So there are multiple ways, and depending on the context and so on and the challenges, there's always a solution possible for it.
I see one hand raised, Dr. Ishwar K. Would you like to unmute yourself, sir, and ask your question?
So, I'm Dr. Ishwar from WaterAid Organization Trust. We are a 30-year-old organization working into the watershed development, water management, climate change adaptation, into that. So, congratulations to Rajesh to your novel contribution into this whole water sanitation, drinking water issues. Actually, that's much needed into that. So, just two small questions. One about as you might be aware about this whole Jal Jeevan mission, about the government's the major program. So I just want to know your thought on that, because at 2024 means just 1 year right, they will connect all household with the tab. So what is your collaboration, contribution, networking, partnership into that, and how we look actually this target feasible, not feasible, at what level we can reach into that. So that's one thought I expect from you. And the another small question is about, interestingly, you talk about this aquifer management, managed aquifer recharge into that. And we are very active into that, to be say. And what we say actually, along with the having this injection borehole at the right recharge areas for the interventions. So more important also is that how we literate community on aquifer management, the aquifer groundwater issues into that, and also how we demystify this whole knowledge to them and bring them together actually. So this whole knowledge sharing part with them actually is a very crucial part. So I'm much eager to know from you how this whole knowledge sharing, building their capacities on aquifer management has been done, because we have our own different model for doing that actually. So it will be my interest to know on that actually. Yeah. So these two reflection from your side. Thank you.
I was hoping that the second question will come up, because I wouldn't have enough time to cover it in my talk. So I'll quickly answer the first question. The Jal Jeevan mission is going on mission mode. And we've seen this in the Swachh Bharat mission, and there is a risk that people will get left out. So on the ground, our strategy has been to work with the district administration to map the habitations which have been sanctioned with Jal Jeevan mission and the ones which don't, and we try to work on the ones where Jal Jeevan mission is not being sanctioned. And even in those where it has been sanctioned, we try and collaborate at multiple levels, right from the vendors who are implementing the program, contracted by government, and also with the community. So one of the things that we are doing, for instance, is that in a location in Vijayanagaram, in habitation in Munjeru, the same contractor is helping us put up storage capacity while he's also putting up pipeline and creating the source for the Jal Jeevan mission. Because storage capacity is something that is absent in Jal Jeevan mission. The Jal Jeevan mission components only looking at providing a source and piping and doorstep pipe water connection. Storage is very significant in our experience, and that is a gap that we are filling. So this is some kind of on-ground coordination and value addition that we are doing for the Jal Jeevan mission. At some other levels, at a national level, we are what are called sector partners to Government of India, Jal Jeevan Mission, Jal Shakti Ministry, particularly on Jal Jeevan Mission, and also on grey water management and other aspects. So there we are able to collectivize our experience and influence national governments as to how this scheme could be run well. There is an appetite to hear from civil society on this, so we are trying to use that window of opportunity to do that. At state level, we are empaneled as a knowledge resource center, who as a knowledge resource center, we will be working with the Panchayat Raj institutions, the implementation support agencies on the ground, capacitate them to help get more participation from community and more ownership as the scheme moves along. So this is the other level at which we have collaborated with the Jal Jeevan mission. But having said all this, I think you're completely right, because after 2024, we may not see any interest in this, and we are really worried about the post 2024 phase. After Jal Jeevan mission is over, how much of interest will national and state government have in some of these issues? So, and that's the reason why there is a rural wash platform that's been formed. I can sort of discuss with you about this. If you're already aware of it, then fine. But if not, I can share more information. And the idea is to galvanize civil society partners to ensure that we look beyond 2024. After the Swachh Bharat mission is over, ODF++ is over, Jal Jeevan mission is over, then what, right? That's going to be our agenda. So on the second part, on connecting the aquifers to the community, and it's actually the other way for us. We find that when we are doing aquifer mapping, we are actually learning a lot more from the community through their anecdotes, through their elderly people's conversation on what have been the trends. And then if we go back and sort of take measurements on, say, that particular borewell that dried up 20 years ago, and this borewell which, every summer, this is the only borewell that seems to give water, and so on, and then we take measurements depending on that, we find that actually helps us get more insights on where the aquifers are. And once this information is obtained by us, we are not able to take the sort of interpretations directly to them. But what we do is we try and integrate it into what we call as water security planning, which you may be aware of, right? So we say that here are where your aquifers are, and this is potentially the amount of volume of water that is at your disposal. Now let's map the kind of activities that you're doing in your habitation or in your gram panchayat. How much of water is being used for agriculture, how much is going for domestic use, for cattle, and so on and so forth. And let's start to budget it. That's just like, we tell them that you have a monthly income of so much, and this is how you spend your monthly income, and you budget for things. Similarly, you budget for your water. And this is a conversation that we have over 2 to 3 days. We take them to sites where borewells have dried up. We take them to sites where we show them what a watershed looks like. And basis that, we see that, they start to relate their traditional knowledge with what we are showing them on the field, and then start to understand the concept of budgeting. And once they understand the concept of budgeting, that is then translated into what's called the Gram Panchayat Development Plan. So there we identify, okay, so now we need, this is the total amount of water you need for drinking. So maybe this is the kind of infrastructure that you need. You need one more storage tank. Maybe you need a few more pipelines. Now, this is the hardware that you need to integrate into your Gram Panchayat development plan and budget for it, and then submit it to the government so that you can use 15 Finance Commission for the Gram Panchayat development activities on water. And that is how you will reach water security basis the water budgeting exercise that you have done. So this is the entire sort of value chain that we try to bring in while we communicate our findings, etc., with the community. And of course, a bulk of our delivery is highly demystified. It is non-technical. It is more through storytelling and so on. And this is done through community facilitators and volunteers who are actually from the community and who speak that language. So that peer-to-peer influencing is also more effective.